What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Marathon Holdings today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Marathon, the biggest publicly traded crypto mining stock available to anybody, right? It is a behemoth, and I think a lot of people overlook it because it is the biggest. It has the highest market cap, and oftentimes when you want to find a stock or a crypto or a whatever kind of asset that's going to grow for you, you don't look for the top dog. The top dog is safe, but normally doesn't provide the most returns. What if I told you that Marathon, out of all the crypto mining stocks, has the highest market cap, and from here, it might have the most returns, the most gains from here on out through the end of the cycle? And if not the most, certainly will be in the top 3 of the most gains, right? This is the very beginning, you guys, the very beginning, where we see crypto being indoctrinated into politics, into government stashes, securities reserve, what are they? Strategic reserves, right? Where we have it on the balance sheet at a world level, right? This is the first time in crypto's history that we have an American president-elect and a whole cabinet, a whole political board of people who are pro-crypto and ready to push things forward, right? Marathon, and I want to just go off on a whole different tangent here real quick. Just throw a little, I'm going to sprinkle a little conspiracy theory on there for you. Not so much conspiracy theory because it's very true, right? We all know BlackRock is the largest asset holder in the world of any asset holder out there. They are the largest asset holder in the world, right? We all know, if you don't know, that BlackRock is one of the largest, if not the largest shareholder of Marathon, right? One of the larger shareholders, right? BlackRock, being one of the largest asset holders in the world, that kind of sounded wrong coming out of my mouth for a second. I was saying asset holders, but it sounded like I said something else. Being the largest asset holder in the world, they probably have political ties, right? They probably have people in political power whose palms they grease, they get their way, they know how the system works because they freaking are the system, and they are the biggest holders of the biggest crypto mining stock in the world. And if they're not the biggest holders, they're one of the biggest holders. Let me just check that real quick. Is BlackRock the biggest holder of Mara? Yes, BlackRock is the largest. Okay, so the largest asset holding company in the world is the largest holder of the largest crypto mining stock that's available for public trading, right? I might assume that this stock could outperform things, but by a very large degree, right? It's worth, we haven't even gotten to the TA, right? It's worth $6.42 billion in market cap. I theorize that this thing will be well above $100 billion by the end of the cycle. From here, at a 6.4, let's just call it a 6.5 billion, a 10x would take you to 65 billion. A 15x would basically put you right at $100 billion, right? So a 15x from here in price would basically take you all the way up to about $300, okay? 300, 311, that's your $100 billion mark. Being at $300 too, that's kind of a psychological level that maybe that's where Marathon goes by the end of the cycle. It's hard to tell, it's hard to know, but if we take an overall high here from October 2021 and we put a low in here at December of 2022, high to low, we get these fib targets, and our 1414 target, the 325 level, actually lines up very well with this $100 billion target area. So it's very possible, you guys, that Marathon by the end of this cycle, in my opinion, is worth more than $325. It's worth $20 now. It might even go a little bit lower from here. We'll do the short-term analysis in a second, but I wanted to make this more in-depth video on the overall potential of Marathon because it is I think deserving of that. It's the big dog. It really is, and I think it deserves to be talked about. Most people, we always talk about it. It's always included in the mining stock analysis, but I feel like it's not the one that most people ask about, right? It's not, most people ask about Hut or Wolf or Iron or CleanSpark or Bitfarms or BTBT. You know, most people don't ask about Marathon, right? outside of you, Cal, right? Cal's basically the only one that asked for Marathon, but and it is the biggest one. I know it is the biggest one, so there's a lot of people that are invested in this, obviously, but I just don't think we talk about it. We don't give it the respect it deserves. And the reality is, I think that a 15x from here is not just doable, but surpassable. Who's to say that it doesn't stop there and potentially goes all the way up to like a 32x? We could run all the way up to the golden ratio at $637. I really do like the idea. I don't think Marathon stops at 200. I really like the idea of a target between about 325 and $637. I really like that idea a lot by the end of this cycle. When's the end of the cycle? Nobody knows. I'm assuming that Bitcoin tops off in October of 2025. That's the high for Bitcoin. Marathon last cycle topped off exactly the same week that Bitcoin topped off. It literally topped off the exact, or not the exact same week. I'm sorry, the same month. It topped off the same month. Bitcoin might have topped off a little after. I can't remember. Maybe it was the beginning. Let's just see here. When did Bitcoin top off? Last cycle. It was the beginning. Okay, so they topped off at the same time. Maybe it tops off at the same time now. Maybe it tops off earlier. You know, it could be that, you know, if Bitcoin tops off in October of 2025, maybe Marathon tops off in September or August. It's possible. But between now and basically the end of 2025 is what I would expect a time frame to be for this cycle. And within that time frame, by the end of that time frame, I think Marathon will be at 325 to 637, okay? Based off these fibs here. Now, if we go back in time, we look at this thing on a monthly basis. We go back in time, we have an overall more resounding high here with this all-time low that we've got. If I can just get it at that high all-time low down here, high to low there. If we take this fib into consideration, you have a 1272 extension coming in just above this 1618, making the argument for prices that are even higher than $637. Sometimes you do wick just above, but still close below your 1618 extension. So I think prices around 800 are even possible for Marathon by the end of the cycle, as crazy as it might sound. It only sounds crazy now, but the reality is, guys, it's the biggest crypto miner in the world. It's basically owned, quite literally owned, by the biggest asset manager in the world. It's not going to do anything but grow. It's not going to do anything but gain value and do phenomenal, right? That's very likely its trajectory from here. So at a minimum, what I would expect by the end of the cycle for Marathon would be new all-time highs. Absolutely. At a minimum, 325 is a doable target. The maximum target I'd give would be about $816. I want to take this more relative fib from this high here. You got your 1618 here also lining up right above that 1618. Look, you just got across different perspectives. You've got so many things lining up in this $600 to $800 area. So I wanted to bring that on the table, right? You're at $19.96 now, $20. Let's finish this video up and do some short-term analysis. Actually, first, before we do that, I want to look at Marathon here on the ribbon chart. Looking at it on a monthly basis, because yeah, the monthly basis, you just got a monthly bullish cross, okay? Monthly bullish cross. Last time, it didn't promote anything. By the time you cross, you're already at your high. That's what they call a false cross. This time, it seems to me that you had a false cross, you crossed back down, and you had a false bullish cross. You also had a false bearish cross, because when you crossed, you're only going up from there, which tells me that you probably are getting ready for a much more substantial move to the upside. Absolutely, I think you are. This is a very, very powerful signal, you guys. Whenever you cross bearish to the downside, for example, here the first time, right, this wasn't a false cross. You pulled back into it, but look at how far down you dropped, right? It was immaculate. I would expect you to see some similar growth from here, right? Something that takes you off the charts from what the current price can provide, right? Something that's crazy, but very doable. That's a very, very powerful signal that you're showing right here on your monthly ribbon. Just wanted to address that. Weekly ribbon looks good too, whatever. Marathon here on a weekly basis. The RSI rejected the overbought zone. Now you're down at the 50. Looking more bullishly charged than bearishly charged, but you could go down a little bit. It's fine. You know, you found resistance here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times before. Each time that you found it before, you basically went right down to $15 or lower. I don't think you go to $15 now. You probably do hold the area you're at about 20 bucks. If not, maybe $18 would be what you hold. The lowest I could see this thing going would be basically $17, but I don't think you go there. Low to high here. Yeah, I would say 18 to 17 bucks if you were to go lower. If not, whenever you get above, I would say like this price here, when you get above about 30 bucks, that's how you know it's time for the next phase up. And that next phase up would likely take you, I think, by the end of January, we're looking for targets that are probably around 50 to 60 bucks by the end of January. If not, at least around 40 bucks, but you're at 20 bucks now. That's some decent growth over the coming month. And I would think, it's the 21st of December now. I would think that basically by that same time in January, you're at these targets. So anything between 43 to 58 bucks by the end of January is where you're going to go. I like the idea of finding support here. All-time high targets are addressed. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.